welcome back to Poem with Purpose. So I am talking about, this is going to be my February 2022 podcast, monthly podcast, and I have a corresponding blog to talk about this as well. So my goal is each month to come to you, and at least each month to do a blog post and a corresponding podcast. So last month I talked about the 240-minute rule, and that was more for the first 12 weeks, and that was for exclusive pumpers mainly. And now I'm coming back to you to talk about the 240-minute rule for the first 12 weeks. This is the nursing and pumping edition. So I want to let you know that this is a trigger warning that this podcast will mention nursing and pumping. So just wanted to get that out up front. And so Poem with Purpose, I stay in my lane. I assist the pumping community to reach its pumping goals, whether that's through exclusively pumping or pumping in addition to nursing. I do not offer latch assessments or assistance with nursing. So if you are interested and have any questions related to nursing or latching assessments, I highly recommend reaching out to a certified lactation professional that specializes in nursing. But I wanted to get out and address, because I get a lot of questions and comments and people wanting to establish their supply by introducing their pump earlier in their breastfeeding journey. I get a lot of questions about it because some lactation professionals do not want to assist in offering the option to learn more about adding in pumping earlier in the journey. And so for nursing families to help them create an oversupply. And when I say oversupply, I do not mean 90 ounces a day in the freezer or putting away, 50 plus ounces. That is not what I mean. I just mean building some type of oversupply, some type of stash that can be put away to support dips in supply or being away from baby or returning to work. Having that supply helps or can help later when dealing with decreases that may happen as you move forward and along your pumping journey. So although I understand that I want to help you reach your pumping goals, I do not add any personal bias into the journey. If someone tells me I want to create an oversupply and they are nursing, I help them to do that. If someone tells me I don't like breastfeeding either by nursing or pumping, and especially by pumping, I help them wean. Like whatever someone wants to do, I'm about meeting people where they are without incorporating any of my personal opinions or personal biases into their journey. People do not need that. But I do want to note here that oversupply can cause issues with nursing. There are things like overactive letdown, foremilk, hindmilk imbalance, and more. So please understand that, it is okay to want some type of oversupply, but getting a significant oversupply can impact your nursing relationship. So I'm all about helping people to make informed decisions. So if you are making a decision to get an oversupply or want to work towards an oversupply, please proceed cautiously. Book a session with me at pumpwithpurpose.com. If you want to do this, do it safely. But I just wanted to let you know that there are risks. I am doing a balanced article. I'm doing a balanced podcast to let you know there are positives, but there are also concerns or negative impact from creating too much of an oversupply. So please understand that the more you pump, the more chances are of having an oversupply. So when you do this, please proceed carefully. It's not my goal to have you produce more of an oversupply than you desire. But, on average, putting away a bag or two of milk a day or, a bag a day or every few days is not truly usually going to significantly impact your journey. But I want to equip you with a recommendation on ways to do so and adding the pump in sooner if you desire to create an oversupply. If you are only nursing and, in general, it's really hard to create an oversupply if you're just nursing. You will end up regulating to what your baby needs. So if later your baby may need more or later you have supply dips, then that's when I start to get the concerned individuals of, having those things and resulting to other forms and taking supplements that may not be the safest way to build supply, because of course the most effective way to remove milk, increase your supply, is to remove milk. So you should always feed your baby on demand if you are nursing, and follow the direction of a lactation professional that specializes in nursing. This podcast will address if you want to add pumping to your nursing journey. You can start pumping with an electric pump as soon as your mature milk comes in. Sometimes using pumping too soon with an electric pump, it doesn't get the colostrum out well. It does stimulate your breast, but sometimes people have more success with more of a manual pump, hand expression, silicone milk collector, something else other than an electric pump before the mature milk comes in. But even as soon as your mature milk comes in, for most people between, days 3 through 7, you can start adding in pumping in some way that works well for you with a device or product that helps to catch milk if needed, or to pump milk, if that's your goal. So I do still recommend the 240-minute rule if you are nursing and pumping, and that is up, for 30 minutes, up to 8 times a day. That is the 240-minute rule for the first 12 weeks. So that is pumping up to 30 minutes, up to 8 times a day for the first 12 weeks. That gives the quote unquote 240-minute rule. If you are nursing and pumping and your baby is effectively removing milk, then you can subtract that nursing session from that session. Like always, feed your baby on demand. Make sure you are doing that as needed, but you can add in pumping. So for example, if your baby nursed for 15 minutes during the session, you can add in another pump session for up to 15 minutes just to get to that 30-minute mark. But I want to reiterate, it's a lot of work to do that. So you have to be on board with it. And that's why it's a balanced approach. I'm recognizing that you want more milk, but sometimes to do that, you have to pump more. And so this is a way to go about doing that. So again, if your baby is not effectively removing milk, you want to see a lactation professional that specializes in nursing for a latch assessment. So again, you can use a silicone milk collector, manual pump, or electric pump to achieve any of your oversupply goals. Now, which one you use will be dependent on you, and that is the milk collector is the least way to get an oversupply. The manual pump is next, and then a manual pump, because it's actually pumping your breast. That is the greater chance of it happening. Now, you can still create an oversupply with all of these. It just depends on your goal of how much of an oversupply you want to accomplish. So again, the list that I'm going to go over, this is in order of increasing oversupply. So again, doing number 1 may create a smaller oversupply. Doing number 2, the next oversupply. Doing number 3 creates an oversupply as well. But doing number 4 can really increase your chances of a significant oversupply. And so you want to go, I don't even recommend it, but I wanted to let you know that this is possible as well. Because please understand, the more you pump, the greater chance of an oversupply. So please be mindful when you are starting to see too much of an oversupply. You can cut back on pumping, but your body will start to produce it. And so you have to be very careful and be mindful of the other side of it if you are creating an oversupply. But I'm all about meeting people with where they are. I've heard from too many people that they tell me some person will not help them. Some lactation professional will not help them create an oversupply at all. But then they're seeing me and they're not producing enough. And then that's another level of stress in a different way. So I just want to always be mindful that if you're looking for someone to help you reach your goals and not someone else's goals, then you will, definitely feel free to book a session. So again, if you want to add in a pump, so I'm going to go over the list now. So if you want to add pumping into your nursing journey, you want to add in a pumping session up to 30 minutes. It does not have to be 30, but up to 30 minutes at least once a day at a time that is most comfortable for you. Sometimes the best way to do that is the first morning pump or the afternoon, like your last pump of the day. But again, just getting a session in for 30 minutes, and recognize that session may produce only 2 to 3 ounces. It may only produce 1 ounce, but again, that is, as time goes on, helps to start to build an oversupply. You can also add in a power pumping session. And what is a power pumping session? That is going, 20 minutes pumping, then rest for 10, pumping 10 minutes, rest for 10, pumping 10 minutes and resting for 10. Overall, you can check out the blog post with the actual post of a visual graphic of it. That is the result of, you will have an hour session once you are done, an hour session. So please be mindful that again takes time to have an hour session. You have to have that reserved. Sometimes it's best as the morning pump or your last pump of the day. Sometimes like while baby is still sleeping, so you can like relax and get that power pumping session in. So then you can like nurse one side and pump the other. But with that, I want you to be mindful to make sure that you have an established oversupply before doing this, because that can make your breast drain. And then if your baby nurses from both sides, the baby won't have enough milk that's needed. So please do that once you've established an oversupply. Know how much your baby needs, know how much you're pumping. And so you can back the pump to make sure that you are making sure that other breast still has milk in there. Also, the last one is the one that, you can pump at the end of a nursing session once or twice a day, or as many sessions as you desire. Now, if you, please be mindful, this is the greatest option to increase the chance of creating a larger oversupply if you pump too many times after a nursing session. So please be mindful. Please understand, like saying oversupply, it's great until you create a significant oversupply, and then you can have to manage it. So again, this is a balanced, everything about Pump with Purpose is balanced. Like, I recognize there are risks and benefits to everything. So please be mindful if you proceed to do that. So any oversupply can be stored in the refrigerator or frozen once you get to the desired amount to use a storage bag to freeze the milk. You can also freeze in smaller increments, and I have the blog that has a link to, you can use a Genobi milk tray, or silicone milk tray, or a Series Chill milk stash. There are other options that it's just allowing you to freeze in 1 ounce or less increments. So you're not having to use a whole freezer bag or usable bag or some type of bag. You can still freeze right away, but because that is your oversupply. And so I really like those options in using some type of smaller product in order to freeze smaller increments. And then sometimes if later on, if the child just needs a little top off, like you can just pull out the 1 ounce and, not have to use a whole 4 ounce bag and stress about having the additional amount left over. So that is an option as well. So again, this list above that I'm talking about is only recommended is only a recommendation and a way to increase milk supply or potentially build an oversupply or freezer stash if this is what you desire. So I just wanted to give you those options. If you want to oversupply, then adding pumping earlier in your journey is the best way to increase your chance of an oversupply. So a lot of people, they don't start pumping until right before they're about to go back to work, or they don't start pumping until they need to go somewhere. And if that is your goal, that is fine. But then if they really want an oversupply, I'm a big advocate of advocating for what you want, when you want it, how you want it, and making sure to find someone that aligns with those goals. If you're getting someone that's not aligning, then look elsewhere, because you deserve the right to choose your pumping journey, or, nursing and pumping journey the way you want it to be. So, that is my, preface here is, if you want to build an oversupply, you have to usually do that sooner. While in the 12 weeks is when your milk supply is regulating. And so after 12 weeks, it's not impossible, but it just can take a little bit more work. So if I can catch people like in the beginning before the 12 weeks and work out a plan with them, then there are chances that, having some sort of oversupply is possible. What I get usually are people that don't add in pumping or add it very late into the 12 weeks, and then they have the supply dips or have their cycle return, and they're stressing over that, and they're taking supplements in a dangerous way, and that's also a negative. So that's why this is a balanced approach into, creating a little bit of a stash, but not too much that your body cannot handle. That is ideally the goal, or creating too much of a stash that impacts or interferes with your nursing relationship. So just wanted to let you know that's a way. So if you do want an oversupply, this is an option to consider. An oversupply is not required for your breastfeeding journey, and there's nothing wrong with it if you do not want an oversupply. But there's also nothing wrong with someone who would like to increase the likelihood of an oversupply, as long as they're making an informed decision that is based on their goals, preferences, and lifestyle. So again, if you want to learn more about which pump or pumping product, silicone milk collector, manual pump, but also an electric breast pump to help you on your journey, please feel free to book a session with me at www.pumpwithpurpose.com. Also, I do have a comprehensive breast milk selection guide that is available for sale to help you choose an electric breast pump, to start the process of choosing an electric breast pump if you want more information. I also have on my Linktree link that will be attached a website that holds all of my affiliate links and discount codes to electric breast pumps. That's also an option if you want to save a little bit of money on a breast pump. But again, I do firmly believe that all breast pumps are not created equal. And so making sure that you have a breast pump that works for your goals, preferences, and lifestyle, I do recommend always booking a session, and we can go over that as well. So just wanted to pop on to talk with you this month about the 240-minute rule for the first 12 weeks. This is the nursing and pumping edition. So until next time, we'll pump with purpose.